Welcome back to a somewhat wet and dreary Con Dao, where we'll be flying a niche Vietnamese airline, VASCO, to the Mekong city of Con Dao. Con Dao is a small tropical Vietnamese archipelago, where I've been staying for the past week. Con Son, the principal town, has a dark past. One of the most poignant chapters in modern Southeast Asian history. For over a century, from 1862 through 1975, Con Dao was not known as a paradise but as a living hell on earth. The prison here held over 200,000 political prisoners and anti-colonial revolutionaries over its 113-year operation. Its infamy stems from the notorious tiger cages, cramped unroofed concrete cells where political dissidents were subjected to extreme isolation, heat and severe torture. An estimated 20,000 prisoners lost their lives here fighting for independence. Many Vietnamese families pilgrimage here to pay homage and respect for their lost family members. Modern day Con Dao, however, is a wildlife haven with turquoise waters, granite cliffs, untouched rainforests and some amazing seafood restaurants. And we're winding our way, taking the one road from the town to the airport. The runway is bookended by two beaches, which means you can get some great takeoff and landing shots. The airport has that elite, cosy terminal energy, where you can make eye contact with everyone at check-in, security and the gate, simultaneously without moving your neck. I couldn't check in online, so it was a slow island time check-in process, but security was a complete breeze, and in no time you find yourself on that second floor lounge. Forget duty-free Chanel or that giant Toblerone bar. The ultimate luxury souvenir at the second floor gate shops are nuts, almonds are big here, and vacuum-packed or literally frozen local fish, packed in styrofoam. Nothing says I went to a tropical paradise like checking in a box of frozen mackerel as hand luggage. They have a couple of cafes upstairs that serve a mango smoothie and the banh mi so good it makes you completely forget you're sitting on metal airport benches that kind of feel like a high school football stadium. Surprisingly good prices though. I have chance to sample them as we're a little delayed. Now let's talk aircraft. VASCO, or Vietnam Air Services Company, is a fully owned subsidiary of Vietnam Airlines. Think of them as the niche route specialist of the country. They operate a tiny hyper-focused fleet of 5 ATR 72-500 turboprop aircraft, suitable for short runways, which is handy because Con Dao was only 1,830 metres, so you get very few jets here. And with no guide assistance, it's daylight operations only. And these things are workhorses. They barely spend 15 to 20 minutes on the ground between flights. These are basically over-the-water buses flying short distances, multiple legs per day. Now look at the aircraft. It's exactly 50 metres away, a brisk 5-second walk. But they pack us onto the tarmac bus and drive us for 45 seconds, make a dramatic U-turn and drop us off at the exact same plane we were looking at from the window. To be fair, it's handy when it rains. We board at the back as the front of the aircraft is used for checked bags and cargo. Our ride today is a 68-seater ATR 72. featuring a 2x2 seating layout. The last few rows are premium, a little bit more legroom, and all at a slightly increased price. Gosh, this cabin is nostalgic. It reminds me of the simplicity of the old Dan Air BAC 111 days. The 2-2 configuration, basic interior, even the stitching on the belt. If you've got a modern, hard-shell carry-on suitcase, do not expect it to fit in the overhead bins. These bins were designed in 1987 for a briefcase and a dream. If your backpack is thicker than a box of cereal, it lives under your feet or it gets checked. Our seat today is 5C. No window today, I couldn't secure one. But with the low cloud cover, I'm not secretly crying into my very clean tray table. And the cabin is clean, despite how used these planes are. Obviously the seatback entertainment is really responsive. 4K screen, bright. Well no, we do have the Vietnam Airways magazine to entertain ourselves. And it's not a bad read, but for a 40-minute flight there's no time to get bored. The seat is fine, surprisingly padded, my bottom is fairly happy. And we do have those all-important individual air vents. Now once these propellers crank up, it's not a flight, it's a spa-grade vibrating massage chair that you just can't turn off. I do find it relaxing. You don't listen to music on the flight, you just vibrate at the same frequency as the engine. There is some refreshment. The flight attendants essentially sprint down the aisle, handing you a branded cup of water like it's a handoff for a marathon water station, and then immediately sit back down for landing. We fly so low and slow, but due to cloud cover and location, I'll just have to imagine seeing the shrimp farms in the Mekong Delta. It's vintage, it's loud, and honestly, it has way more character than a sterile Boeing. Once you've finished your water, the pilot is already announcing the descent into Can Tho. It's the only flight where the safety demonstration takes up a noticeable percentage of the entire journey. And with that, welcome to Can Tho, the major city on the Mekong Delta, and we have our bus ride to the arrivals terminal. So did I enjoy it? Well, it's essentially a bus service which was successfully executed. It was nostalgic. It served its purpose and it was a unique aircraft, so an interesting experience for an Avgi. So why not stay tuned for my trip up to Ho Chi Minh City and flight on Sichuan Airways up to Chengdu. And if this report has tickled your fancy, give it a like, a hype, and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next flight or trip. Thanks for watching, and next time I'm getting a window seat.